I guess we'll get this underway.
Okay. I didn't know where you were last time I saw you. Were heading.
First, I want to thank everybody for coming here today. This is Chuck's home. This isn't where he passed, but this is his home, and this is where he belonged. I want to point out something really quick. If you knew Chuck, you knew that he had a belt buckle that he wore every day, and it was a horseshoe. Well, somehow it accidentally got cremated with him. And when I was down there, the caretaker was saying, I don't know if it was a belt buckle. I said, yeah, it was a belt buckle. He said, now don't be alarmed, it's in with the ashes. I took it upon myself to fish it out last night because I wanted it to be here. But you can see, not only is it still there, but his initials are still there. Tell me that's not a sign. Fire hot enough to break down a body, but not only did that survive it, but look, it's still the way it was. It's a little darker, a little beaten up, but one of Chuck's good friends, Laura, couldn't be here today, and she wanted me to say something on her behalf. On behalf of all of Chuck's dear friends, past and present, that would be here today if they could, Chuck will always be remembered as a loyal friend, a dedicated veteran, an animal lover, a unique, kind, witty, hardworking, romantic storyteller, but above all, he was a man among men. You of all people, Hank? Sorry. That's okay. We love you, we miss you, and you're always here in spirit. Your dear friend, Laura Wayman. How do you say goodbye to someone who was both a father and your best friend? It all started back in 1992. I was a scrawny 13-year-old. I walked into the post office and asked Chuck if he needed any help on his farm. That was one of the best things I ever did. If I talked about everything he did for me, we'd probably be here until next Tuesday. I know we all have things to do. Some of those things were clear and direct, like fixing all 34 cavities I had in my mouth, or teaching me to drive, or buying me my first car. Some would be lessons that I wouldn't understand until later in life. I am the man I am today because of Chuck. Everything from my love of animals, my work ethic, my integrity, and my dedication to see things through all come from him. Chuck wasn't much for talking about his feelings. The most touching thing he ever said to me was the reason why he did all those kind things for me. He said he saw something special in me. He said he would have gladly done all of the chores he gave me, but he enjoyed raising a man. He also said that he was proud of me, I had a good heart, and that he loved me. Little did I know that he sent me that text message a few days after his emergency open heart surgery last October. While I was down in Florida last month taking care of his affairs, I had a thought that may sound a little selfish at first. How unfair is it to have to say goodbye to two fathers? And then I had another thought. How many of us are truly blessed to have two great fathers? We're all blessed to have known Chuck. He really was the best. So to answer the question, how do you say goodbye to your father and best friend? The answer is you don't. Because he'll always be with us. And I know that I'll see him again someday. I have faith in that. I know that Chuck wasn't a particularly religious man, but I found this open on the desktop of his Mac, and I wanted to share it with you. Some of you may know it. It's called An Irish Blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Now, what are the chances of that? Here's someone who I'd never talked religion to once, and there it was. As soon as I opened up his computer, it popped right up. I'd also like to read the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. What a comfort it is to know that Chuck is here with us today, and he's looking down on us. He's with his parents, all of his lost friends, and all of his animals. He's with Cody, he's with Star, he's with Tess, he's with Seabag and Cheyenne and Hannah and Woody and Jethro, and I could be up here for a while just naming them all off. Chuck lived his life to the fullest, from his days serving in the Navy to buying this farm and transforming it into his dream, to starting up the veterinary hospital and becoming a successful AHA accredited facility. His travels all over the country in his RV, even our adventures going back and forth to Florida several times. And throughout it all, regardless of how things looked, he always kept a positive attitude. The cup was always half full to Chuck, and he always made do with what he had. He was thankful. What a wonderful example for us all. Always be thankful for what you have. Chuck had loved and lost several times in his life. However, losing this farm was the biggest heartbreak of his life. Well, Pop, you said you'd never come back to New York, but today we're all here to bring you back home to Jockeyport, back to where you belong. May you find peace here on Jockeyport Mountain. Is there anyone else who'd like to say anything? I don't know if you want to climb up here, but you're more than welcome to.
I think you said it pretty good, Dustin.
Yeah, good job.
Yep, excellent.
All right, now I don't know. I know we wanted them spread, but I don't know. Did we just let them rip?
What's going out there?
Leave the wind blowing.
Well, I don't know. Chuck's
where
pretty
that's
heavy
from.
still.
Probably behind it or something. Maybe.
This bag is ripped, so this is not going to be a neat affair. But then again, that's what we're all here for. I also have Hannah as well. Chuck's wishes to have her ashes spread in. Pip, when she passes, she's going to be spread here. And for those of you who I haven't talked to, Pip is being very well spoiled and taken care of right now. She's still in Florida, but her ashes will be spread here as Chuck wished. Where you wanted to be, Pop.
I just want to say one thing.
Just a second, Hank.
Take your time, Hank.
You got all day.
We did so much together.
Mm-hmm. We talked about that all the time, the wagon train.
I think Chuck and I started hanging out in 1965. And it never stopped. The last text he sent me was in March. And he said, you're going to be able to come south. And we were actually hoping we were going to be able to. And he said, I hope you do because I'd like to see you one more time before I leave this crazy world. And didn't happen. But my dad told me something many years ago when I quit drinking. It was 38 years ago. He said, you'll know who your friends are if you quit drinking. One guy came to see me after that. One. That. He never left me.
I had a similar experience when I lived in Montgomery near all the bars. I was out drinking every weekend. I had a million friends. As soon as I stopped drinking and started getting my act together, those guys who said they'd always be there wouldn't even answer the phone anymore.
He was always there.
He was. One thing about Chuck, whenever you needed him, he was there.
It was Chuck's way or the highway. But
He was
This-
stubborn.
this
He was
is
stubborn.
true.
He
He
was
was?
stubborn, yeah.
And you know what, Hank? You said it best. If you were friends with Chuck long enough, at some point you had a falling out. But you know what? You always made up and came back around.
He always got past
That's
it.
that's the way it was. That's how real friendship is.
He couldn't change his mind about anything, that's for sure.
No.
Well, I know you've missed Hannah dearly.
Together again.
And his picture's actually etched in the top of that stone.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed. In the top of that stone,
Picture's
that's
on-
Hannah.
etched in
Yeah.
it.
Now, there is going to be something added to this later. Chuck had a custom-made bumper made for his RV. It was made out, I think it was cypress. And carved in it, it said "Not Fa" to Jockeyport, which "Not Fa" is Afton backwards. And Charles Deuce was the man who made it for me. He's a skilled woodworker. And he also, Chuck had him make carved heads of both Pip and Hannah, and he painted them. And they look, the likeness is crazy. It looks like a picture. And he wanted them mounted to the bumper. But Charles talked him out of it. He said, you know, I put a lot of work into those. They're going to get ruined. So I told Charles I wanted to make something, another grave marker. But his idea was to take the bumper, cut about 1.5 feet off either side, mount those heads to it, and then he was going to make a small, attach it with chain and put it underneath the Pure Life Chuck mail. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put either a 4x4 or 6x6 in, put some quickcrete so it's solid, and then I'm going to put that across so it's going to be like a cross behind it. And I already have permission from Tom Scott to do so. So that, as soon as that's all done, that's going to be up here as well. And like I said, I have Tom's permission anytime we want to come up here,
And
we
Ivan,
can just come up here.
yeah, and Ivan, the guy who bought the farm, was really good about it too.
Well, here's the Chuck. May his next journey be full forces.
I feel like we all should have Bacardi and Cokes right now. Or Rolling Rocks.
Hey, he always told me that you were his best friend.
I haven't had many in my life as close as him and I.
Good job.